There is a version of you that people do not take seriously. You may not see it. You probably don't. But the people around you do. They sense it before they can name it. They act on it before they even consciously realize it. And what they sense is this: that you can be moved, that you can be managed, that if they push the right way, you will adjust yourself around them. This is what powerlessness actually looks like. Not weakness, not failure, not poverty. It looks like availability. It looks like flexibility. It looks like someone who is always willing to make room. And today, we are going to talk about the 7 signs you are living in that state. Not to shame you, but because most people will go their entire lives rearranging themselves for others without ever asking why the room never rearranges for them. Pay attention. Some of this will be uncomfortable. Sign number 1. You explain yourself too much. Think about the last time someone questioned your decision, a choice you made about your time, your direction, your life. What did you do? If you immediately began to justify, to explain, to build a case for why you did what you did, understand what that behavior communicates. It tells the other person that their approval is required for your choices to be valid. And the moment someone believes their approval is required by you, they own a piece of your power. Powerful people state, they do not explain, they say no, and that is the sentence. They make a choice, and it does not come with a press release. The explaining impulse feels polite, it feels respectful. But in most social dynamics, it reads as insecurity dressed up as courtesy. And people feel that difference, even when they cannot describe it. Stop performing the logic of your decisions for an audience that did not earn a seat at that table. Sign number 2. You cannot handle silence. There is a test that happens constantly in human interaction. It is invisible. Most people fail it without knowing it was even given. The test is silence. When a conversation pauses, when someone looks at you without speaking, when a negotiation goes quiet, when a text goes unanswered. What do you do? If your instinct is to fill that silence, to send a follow-up, to say something, anything, to break the tension, you have just handed control to the other person without them asking for it. Silence is not a vacuum to be filled. It is a pressure. And whoever breaks first is communicating that the discomfort of waiting is greater than the cost of submitting. People with genuine psychological grounding can sit in silence and let it work on others. They understand that quiet can be the most commanding thing in a room. They do not rush to be understood. They wait to be approached. Ask yourself the last time you held silence instead of breaking it. If you cannot remember, there is something here worth examining. Sign number 3. You change your position under social pressure. Not under logic, not under new information, under pressure. There is a significant difference. Updating your view because someone gave you a better argument is called thinking. Updating your view because someone raised their voice, acted disappointed, or looked at you coldly. That is called submission. And submission dressed up as open-mindedness is one of the most common forms of invisible powerlessness. Watch yourself in group conversations. When you share an opinion and someone pushes back hard, what happens inside you? Does something in you begin searching immediately for a way to soften, qualify, or retreat? Do you begin building an exit from your own position before anyone has even made a real argument? This pattern is not politeness. It is a trained fear of disapproval. And it signals to every observant person in the room that your positions are not really yours. They are negotiable based on the emotional weather of whoever you are talking to. People cannot respect a position that its owner is willing to abandon for comfort. Sign number 4. You over-apologize, not for things you actually did wrong, for existing, for taking up space, for having a need, for speaking, for asking a question, for simply being present in a way that might, possibly, inconvenience someone else. Listen to the language. Sorry, I just wanted to ask. Sorry to bother you, but sorry, this might be a stupid question. Every unnecessary apology is a tax you pay on your own presence. It tells the world that your default position is guilt, that you assume you are the problem before anyone has even made a complaint. And that kind of preemptive smallness does not make you seem humble. It makes you seem like someone who has already surrendered before the conversation begins. There is a kind of person who walks into a room as though they are asking permission to be there. And there is another kind who walks in as though they belong there by nature. Those two people will be treated differently in every environment they enter. Not because of talent, not because of credentials, because of the silent story their behavior tells about how much they value their own presence. Sign number 5. Your mood is controlled by how others treat you. This one is quiet. It hides well. When someone is cold to you, your day shifts. When you are ignored, something in your chest tightens. When someone who matters to you is distant or short with you, you spend the next several hours running through what you might have done. Your internal state rises and falls based on the behavior of people around you. And you have come to think of this as normal. It is not normal. It is a form of dependency. The person whose emotional state is constantly at the mercy of others' behavior has no anchor inside themselves. They are always waiting for external confirmation that things are okay. And anyone who understands human dynamics, anyone who moves through the world with awareness, can feel this in you. They can feel that your mood is a dial they can turn. And people, even unconsciously, lose respect for dials they can turn. The most psychologically formidable people you will ever meet carry something stable inside them that does not bend when the social weather shifts. They are not cold. They are not indifferent. But their internal ground does not move because someone chose not to smile at them today. Sign number 6. You pursue people who show you no interest. There is something most people will never admit to themselves. Pursuit communicates need, and need communicates imbalance. When you repeatedly reach out to someone who responds slowly, who gives you partial attention, who meets your effort with a fraction of the energy you offer, you are not building a connection. You are building a record of how little you require to keep trying. And people do not generally move toward what chases them. They move toward what doesn't need them. This is not about playing games. It is about something much more serious. The difference between a person who has a full life and is selecting who gets to be part of it, and a person who is hoping others will fill a space they feel inside themselves. The first person is chosen. The second is tolerated. And the cruelest part is that the more consistently you pursue, the less desirable you appear. not because you are less, but because the very act of pursuit shifts the psychology of value in the other person's mind. Understand this. Scarcity creates value. Availability destroys it. Sign number 7. You shrink in the presence of dominant people. You know this feeling. Someone confident walks into a room. Someone who speaks with authority, takes up space, holds eye contact without discomfort, and something in you adjusts. You become a little quieter, a little more careful about what you say. You begin to position yourself in relation to them, rather than as a person occupying your own position. You start monitoring how they perceive you. This is social submission, and it is automatic in most people. But here is the truth that lives underneath it. Dominant behavior does not make someone powerful. It makes them visible. The two are not the same. Many of the most genuinely powerful people in history were not the loudest in the room, but they could not be moved by the loudness of others. And that stability, that refusal to automatically reorganize around someone else's confidence, is what power actually feels like from the inside. The moment you stop shrinking in the presence of strong energy, something shifts. You are no longer an audience for their dominance. And that shift, even if nothing is said, is felt by everyone in the room. Here is what all 7 of these signs have in common. They are all ways of giving away what you cannot get back without a fight. Your psychological authority. The right to occupy space without permission. The right to hold your position without explaining. The right to let silence work for you instead of against you. The right to be unmoved by the emotional weather of people who have not earned the power to shift you. None of this is loud. None of this is aggressive. This is something far more interior. It is the slow process of stopping the leaks, of noticing every place you hand yourself over and asking why. Because power is not something most people are given. It is something they stop surrendering. And once you see these 7 patterns clearly, really see them, not just recognize the words, something begins to change in how you carry yourself, in how you speak, in the decisions you make without announcing them, in the way you sit in a room. People will notice the change before you fully understand it yourself. But here is what most people who reach this point still do not know. Stopping these 7 patterns is only the beginning. Because there is a second layer to this. A set of psychological moves that people with real social power use not just to protect themselves, but to actively shape how others see them, feel about them, and respond to them. Moves that are not about dominance, not about aggression, but about something far more precise. That is what comes next. And if any part of this video felt like it was describing you, you will want to see it.